Good morning. I hope we're all doing well. And if we're not doing well, we are asking, petitioning, and requesting for the thing in which we need. Because that is the only way it's going to show up, is if we recognize the thing that we need and call it forth in our existence. Because the world was made from request. So, and we're supposed to follow behind the thing that has blessed us and called us forth. We have to do likewise. And that is speak into this universal presence, which is why the idea Reverend Lisa came up with is sowing the seeds, which are my thoughts, in universal soil. And so it is that from this perspective that I hope to bring something to our attention that would help us see how to align ourselves with the thing itself is recognized as God. And in Science of Mind, we like to bring it to us personally. Remove Christ from outside of us into the atmosphere, dictating down to us what it is, the behavior that we chose, or the way in which we were not obedient, if you will. Because it is not that we are disobedient, it is just that we might have made a decision that was not in line to what it is that we should be doing. See, it's just being out of alignment that one will not be able to live up to their ability. See, ability is within each and every one. It doesn't matter where you've been. See, even Jesus was born in a manger. Just means meager circumstances, and all of us are from a meager circumstance. That's all it is. So it's like, but we have to see our way through with an expectation. The book always talked about one coming after. After what? After recognizing that I am one with the power that is this universe and expanded everywhere. It is the only way that we can see our way out. But see, sometimes in the vision that we have of ourselves, we don't look too far out. See, we look at the shallowness of our lives, where we live, where we grew up, and what happened. That's limited thinking, y'all. Can't have limited thinking in this world that needs you to command something from it. We got to speak with power and authority. Because if we don't, what will show up? Meager circumstances. See, this power that is flowing in and throughout this universe, we have to submit to it as we recognize it as it shows up in our experience. Because it is everywhere, even though we can't see it. But we have to know that it's moving something around because things are shifting. And we need to be in charge of our shifts. Just like at work, right? You got to be in charge. It has been said that as we contemplate, the universe receives, molds, and shapes our thoughts into forms in our physical reality. What is it that we're speaking? If the reality is not the concept that we have, change your thinking, change your life. And these are signs, this is methods, these are principles, these are practices that one must do in order to become. So when you find yourself in a rut, don't look at the rut, look up and ask for help. Because there are moments when we just don't know. We've all been in experience where we just didn't know. But when we know, They said we're supposed to do better. And if we don't know, we're supposed to what? Find out. So if we're not seeking, asking, requesting, looking into, investigating, prodding, then that's when we get stuck. Not denied, delayed. See, the gift is waiting on our recognition of it. And then it will provide to its believer their requests. But some of us say, well, man, I did request it, and it just didn't show up. Well, sometimes when we make a request, we don't really believe that it's going to happen. We are hoping. It's that I think this is how I'm supposed to do it. So since I'm supposed to do it, I'm going to ask, but if it don't show up, it's okay. That's not belief. Believe something, you go for it regardless of who's looking, what happened, or how you got there. If you didn't make it, you just keep moving. Because, this just popped in my head. We got this little dog. She's 18 years old. Okay? And so she's getting a little weak, right now. But before we left, she was just a spry, just running through the house, just moving around. Now, a minute ago, she was limping. But all of a sudden, she was just running, right? Yes. She was running like, man. Because she's trying to get back to that feeling that she had before she got sick. You got to still push, even though despite, irregardless of, continue on. The journey is not to the swift, nor the fast, but the one who endures till the end. This was all discovered. It's all written, and they always told us don't read. Sometimes some people said don't read, but if you don't read, you're not going to find what it is that you need, because the answer is in the books. All answers is in the books. You can find a book, and it will help you get there. And now they even got it says dummy for. So there's no excuse for whatever. Break it down, plain and simple. One of the ways that the Bible speaks about our connection with Spirit is in John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten." We don't really say begotten because we know we're all begotten. So we don't use that technically in our teaching, right? But it is the form, the offspring, the body that came from, right? And it's like, and whoever believed in this effect that came in existence, that was called forth to represent man's life, that one could be the one who can resurrect their life. Man, see, you have to resurrect your own life. It's like, see, it says you won't perish, so it's like you will have like a challenge or a difficulty, but because you know to go back to the beginning, you will have everlasting life. That means whenever you get in trouble, you know to go to the source so that you can stand on the principle and live. This religion thing, like we have to stop seeing it as, as a church, and we have to see it as a way of life, as a living principle. Because when you see it as a living principle, you can indoctrinate yourself with it, and you can fight through your stuff, man. See, the birthing of Christ is a asking and offering of self. He offered himself unto life to be the example in which we should live. So this for us should only be a template to follow to become efficient in our life's journey. See, the thing itself is behind creating and providing all needs requested. Based on our understanding of it and our relationship to it, we have to understand that it operates through a law, though. Right? It operates through a law. It's divine law. And the law is working and operating regardless all the time. Don't care who uses it, who speaks into it, the law is working. Here's the law. Fillmore describes the law like this. Divine law is the orderly working out of the or divine ideals into expression or manifestation throughout creation all the time. It's been working and doing this ever since the beginning of time. Man, by keeping the law of right thinking, works in perfect harmony with divine law and thus paves the way into spiritual consciousness. See, we're talking about tapping into the spiritual consciousness of Christ, the spiritual idea which life is birthed so that we can love the brotherhood. See, we don't love the brotherhood if we mistreat the brothers. And that's sisters too. Let's not get it wrong, right? Let's stay focused on what I'm saying here. See, because it is the misdeed, the mistrust, the misfortune, the hitting on the head, the robbing, the stealing, all for things that are coming out of the earth that anybody could get them. It's available to you. You got to work. You got to take your hands and go to work to get it. But you can have it when you speak it. If you don't want to be a developer, you got to go a little deeper. See, you got to believe that you can become greater than, other than. So the development of us is based upon knowing the law. Not only is our creativity based on the law, but it is governed by the action of the law. Not only is our creativity based on the law, but it is governed by the action of the law that creates for whoever uses it intelligently. Got to get to know yourself. Got to get to know who you are and know what you want and start putting it together and don't be used no more. Don't let yourself be used no more. Better get to work and use this law to awaken and become powerful. The law does not work whimsically, but through our spoken word and beliefs in it to provide without question. See, we don't need to question it. We just need to believe. Believe and speak and act. Don't quit because it got hard. Don't say, oh, well, mama didn't help. Okay, well, guess what? Somebody didn't help mama either. You got to quit looking at how bad and how difficult your challenges are and take it on. Take it on. You're going to survive it. See, we need a clear understanding of ourselves and the operation of divine law. That was going to assist us to realize that everything has its foundation in a rule of action, a law that must be observed by both creator and created. You catch that? The creator and the created, they both got to be involved. They both got to do their job. if you want it to be. So guess what? We are all built by God, led by Spirit, and we're supposed to walk by faith. That's the mantra that you got to have for yourself. You got to know that you're not the person that went through your experience. That was something that's developing you, that's shaping you, that's trying to get you to see that you need to do something differently. That's all it's doing. It's just trying to shift you. Shift on away from there. It ain't a struggle. It's a life's journey. And we got to be passionate about our lives. And I understand, it was hard. You just don't know. Well, you're right. I don't know yours. And see the confusion of all of us, right? When we hear these teachings of Jesus and life, what happens is we put Jesus outside of life, but yet you cannot in truth talk about you can tell us about him, but you cannot tell us that one man on this earth who didn't walk and didn't live and act the way that his peers act. Amen. You want to know why? It said all have sinned. Not some, not one. It said all have sinned and fell short. It's just saying that you made a mistake along the way. But the concept is to get on up. Get on up. And what? Let go and let God. Okay? See, it is, and also, one of the statements in there is that we are the salt of the earth, right? So basically what it's saying is that we're supposed to understand, love, and abide in the truth that Jesus taught and demonstrated. See, the most common interpretation, of this verse, we need to look at salt as a preservative. So if we want to preserve the kingdom, see, we got to act and be. That's what it's saying. See, a lot of these fables that they've taught us over the years, they ain't been passed down no more. So a lot of people don't even know what that means, right? But you have to preserve your strength, your life, your way of life, so that you can continue to receive your good. Fillmore says about God, about making this connection, he says, God is mind, man, the offspring of mind. Excuse me. God is mind, man, the offspring of God, is mind. See how it connected us? See, you got to connect. And now it's not saying you God. That's not what it's saying. It's saying you're connected to the thing that speaks to you through your mind. Your mind has an awareness that sometimes you're not ready to do. Your mind will awaken you to things that you may not be ready to walk into and take on. I hope somebody caught that one. Because, see, and this doesn't mean necessarily trouble. It just means that you're supposed to conquer this. Say, what is more than a conqueror? Like, let me stay focused here. Because it'll take you off course. See, and that's what I'm saying. See, like when you start listening to Spirit, like you can have a plan, but then there's something that happens to you, and while you're thinking this one thing, it provides you another thing. And so you try to not go because you're trying to stay, okay, I got 30 minutes to do this. So you try to stay in line with what you got without people like, man, I wish he would hurry up, right? And then you got to do it. But wait, I'm hearing Spirit telling me to say this, right? and this is happening right before your eyes. So this should let you know this is how it works. right? This is real. Like, I ain't animating because I want to be animated. I'm animating because I feel it coming through. Because most of the time, you want to be calm and reserved, right? Just sit in it, let it hear it, just know. So in order to live from this concept, we must adjust our mind to the truth that our mind works with the God mind. To operate under this power, we must recognize it as truth. If we don't believe that God is leading us, our attempts seem like failures. When we don't trust God, we don't try as hard. When we don't trust God, we hesitate. When we don't trust God, we doubt ourselves. We don't even believe that we can do it. Like, even, don't go there. Until we recognize God as the source of all supply, men will look at their material world and judge his successes, thus denying his power. So in other words, we collect and we gather all these things. You know, matter of fact, a story is when I was back here and I was speaking to Kasani and Keston, I was telling them how when I was growing up, you know, like them, that, you know, I played all these sports and I had over like 37 trophies, right? And so it's like, you know how many I got today? It's like one, right? Like, it's since I'm no longer doing it, it doesn't really, you know, have any meaning or no tie to. So the Bible says it like this in Matthew 6:19 and 21. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up yourself treasures in heaven where moss and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasures is, there your heart will be also. You say you want it, you got to shift what you're thinking about yourself. You got to bring heaven down from up in the sky, from a man who they describe to you sitting on the throne. That's a description of how to rule a kingdom. That's all it is. Man can only learn by what he can understand. So I have to describe God in a way, or Jesus in a way, as taking over a throne. So how do I do that? I say he's sitting on the right hand. Come on and get up on this stand. Lead and be the kingdom of your domain. Because your life is waiting on you to be the kings and queens that we are. It is time and it is waiting. And if you delay it, don't think God ain't trying to give it to you. Well, maybe I ain't supposed to have it. If you believe that, guess what? You ain't gonna get it. You gotta know that. Learn the process. Learn the method. Learn the application to become fluid in what it is that you're doing. When we operate against the law, it holds us responsible for the results of our thinking. When we operate against the law, it holds us responsible for the result of our thinking. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. All things will be revealed to us in mind when we consciously think about our spiritual connection. What are you connected to? Doubt or faith? Belief and trust or not right now? It ain't my time. Shouldn't be me. I don't deserve this. Man, I've been out there running around, throwing these rocks and just casting them out there, not knowing what was going to happen, and I don't deserve this. That's probably why I don't have no house. That's probably why I don't, I'm not working. That's probably why I'm unable to find someone who understands and trusts me and who's willing to help me and assist me to grow into becoming who it is that I need, because some of us need a partner. Some of us need someone to help push us, hold us up when we lean in a little bit. So you sometimes just need that hand back there. They ain't got to cast us forward, but just prod us up so that we don't fall. It helps. Thank you. It's to you. So in Romans, another way that it helps us to kind of grasp what's happening here, it says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. So our purpose and working with God. See, you got to have your purpose, your will, and you move. And as they come together, you have success. See, that's the thing we have to see. We have to begin to try to align our gifts up with our spiritual blessing. See, the Christ mind is just a way of thinking and believing and knowing and asserting is all it is. So until we assert our power into it, we will continue to wave in and out through it. But when we stand on the love of Christ that is within us, then we can be. See, by seeking this knowledge and wisdom, we will find refuge, peace, love, and abundance. See, the principle of infinite expansion is constantly growing and developing towards the fulfillment of the perfect idea that is planted in all creation. And our maturation takes place within to utilize its perfection. Once we work with it, we can bring about the thing that we want, that we need in the moment that we need it. And that says what? All time. Doesn't matter. It's an infinite expansion. We limit the unlimitable. That's all we're doing. And we all have. That's just how we grow. Our freedom allows us to activate this inherent power in our life or continue to use the past to make sense of a new opportunity. Yeah, he be talking. He be dropping some notes, y'all. I'm telling you. That's what happens. That's what happens when you sit with it and you read something and you sit there and you listen. It will reveal things, and you can't be afraid, of how it's revealing to you, or that, and also too, you got to recognize it as it's your own voice. It's not a different voice. It's your voice. See, don't get caught up in, Well, that sound. No, if it's you, guess what? It's you. Christian Neff in Self-Compassion wrote, imperfection makes growth possible. When we change our perspective so that our suffering is transformed into an opportunity for growth. The learning opportunities provided by our failures can actually help us to achieve our goals and desires. I read this book, it's called Mindful Athlete. And it talks about like a warrior and how a warrior thinks and how a warrior sees the battle and what he has to think and believe about himself in order to keep fighting, if you will. Because sometimes in battles you lose. And so it'll zap some strength out of you. Because you would think that, man, that's not being that's like we think it's too much. So follow this. A warrior accepts that he can never know what will happen to him next. We can try to control the uncontrollable by looking for security and predictability, always hoping to be comfortable and safe. But the truth is that we can never avoid uncertainty. This not knowing is part of the adventure. And it is also what makes us unafraid. The central question of a warrior's training is not how to avoid uncertainty and fear, but how we relate to discomfort. How do we handle our difficulties? With our emotions and with the unpredictable moments with our life. Approaching these daily difficulties as a challenge rather than as a risk is another aspect of right effort. Then Castaneda goes on to say, the basic difference between an ordinary man and a warrior is that a warrior takes everything as a challenge, while the ordinary man takes everything as a blessing or a curse. Yeah, I said there was some books out there that got some information that tell you, give you little tidbits of secrets to help, right? The trick, he suggests, is about what we emphasize. We can either make ourselves miserable, he says, or we can make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. The amount of work is the same. Replace work with effort, and you have the same formula. Right effort makes us strong. Wrong effort makes us miserable. It's our choice. And I don't know if I don't know if Castaneda is Baptist, I don't know Buddhist, I don't know what he is. But that sounds like a spiritual interpretation of life to me. Yeah, it is hot up here. It is. So Ralph Waldo Emerson says, sow a thought, you reap an action. Sow an act, and you reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap a destiny. Work. Move. Don't stop. because, it gets a little weary. Despair shows up, loneliness shows up, pain shows up, discomfort shows up. Hey, it's part of the process. Part of the process. Pull until you get through it. So let us affirm this. I'm going to read it first, and then we'll come back around to it. And it's like this. The past has no power over me, and it has passed, and I accept the lessons learned from the experience, and I know that this new awareness protects me and guides me to my new adventures. And this sets me free from my past. I let go and let God. And I trust in the words that was written over 3,500 years ago. Because that's what we're living in. Of those decoded the book and built the world that we see and that we recognize as ours. So it's our turn, literally and figuratively. The past has no power over me, and it has passed, and I accept the lessons learned. From the experience, and I know that this new awareness protects me. And guides me to my new adventures. And this sets me free from my past. I let go and let God. And I trust it all. Because he's been with me the whole while. Take that in. That's why you're still making it. That's why you're still moving. The power is the spirit that is surging in and amongst us, that is moving us through this universe. We're in a uniform. You ain't on a team, but you're in a uniform. The team is human. But the spirit is guiding us to perfect this human condition. And it's going to take each and every one of us ideas to perfect the world in which we live. And if you don't want to be involved, this is why we are hesitant. This is why we have not, because we're not standing in our true selves. The power needs someone to work through. I'm going to close before I get y'all mad at me. So let us understand or walk away with the recognition of this. There are no conditions, obstacles, or places that we do not belong. Only in our thinking makes it so. So know with me that we are empowered to overcome the world, and we should not hide anywhere, and unite with God and shine all over mankind. Peace and abundant blessings to you.